Sometimes I like photography more than cinematography. Focus on one frame of series of time. How dramatic it is. Also, editing photo is one of my favorite things to do. Recreating a new color and perspective of life. But be careful about overkilling. You don't want to mess it up. Keep it clean, but also unique and punchy. So today, I'm going to share you guys how I do clean and punchy photo edit in Lightroom. There is no good or bad and right or wrong in a creative work such as photography. If you say that is your style, that is your style. And if I say this is my style, this is my style. But in my personal photography rule, there is a thing which is tell a thing. It could be story or history or atmosphere, vibes, the sense of season, and the temperature. It could be anything that I feel at that moment. I want to tell the story of that moment through photography to people. Editing part is really important to deliver people what I actually see and feel. Raw footage has potential to become anything depending on us. But I don't want to overkill like an exposure and saturation and kill the image. Keep it clean but also unique and punchy, and sometimes emphasize some of part of that image to tell the story of that moment. So today, let me take you to a quick journey of my photo editing. So this time, I'm going to develop this raw footage. This image was shot around like 5-6 a.m. Beautiful national park with full of green and many tall buildings far away. A little foggy, morning vibes, the mix of nature and the city. Before humans wake up, I'll go with this. Okay, first, every time I start off with aspect ratio. And most of the time I set 16:9 and fix the angle. This time, this auto angle fixing worked well, easy and lucky. And next thing I do is total exposure and saturation. So this is pretty much same as color correcting in filmmaking. Make the image back to the normal like a saturation, contrast, exposure so that I can add some creative looks later. First, I brought the shadow up to recover the detail in it, and brought highlight down to also get information back. And next thing I did is white balance. So this white balance is very effective way to create the whole atmosphere, like the color theme. So this time I wanted like a 5 or 6 a.m. morning vibes. Like I said, before humans wake up. So I shifted tint to green and temperature to blue. And at the last, I boosted saturation, but not too much. I don't like overkilling saturation because it doesn't look real. To me, photo is photo, not painting. And when I added saturation, probably I thought, okay, too much green, so I made tint back to the default. Now looks good, ready to create the world. So this image has 3 areas. First, this dark and green area, and this middle foggy area, and third, buildings and the sky highlight area. So I want to edit each of them individually. So I used mask. So first, I used this rectangle mask for this first dark area. Give it some black to make those greens punchy, and brought highlight up to get some popping light on trees, and brought shadow down a little bit. And this is the biggest part of my photo editing. It's clarity. That's the key of my photography. You can make the image contrasty and punchy, but also this has potential to kill the image. So be careful how much you apply this. So I set around 15, and I realized that shadow is too much now, so I brought it down, and then I added the extra saturation on it. So moving to this highlight area, again apply this rectangle mask on it, and start off with bringing up the clarity and reduce the highlight and exposure. Also added some white to emphasize the sky and did micro adjustment on highlight. And moving to colors, add some extra saturation and shifted temperature to blue and tint to green. And then moving to the last part, mid-tone area, this foggy area. For this, apply the circle mask around it. Starting off with bringing up the clarity up, but keep it minimum. And brought the texture down to reduce the harshness from this area because I want to make it foggy. And brought the dehaze down and added white to get some fog on it and reduce the highlight. And as the final adjustment, I used curve. So basically what I did is making a gentle S-curve, lower the mid-tone and bring up the highlight and lower the shadow, but bring the darkest shadow up. Basically, this is how I make S-curve. Most of the time, I do this. And after this, I do some micro adjustment, and the final output is like this. Well, it's not too exaggerated, the saturation and exposure is not overkilling, not too harsh, not too soft. It's pretty much same as what I actually saw. We can feel some 5 or 6 a.m. foggy morning vibes from this image. Well, there is no particular story of this image, but there is something that we can feel from this image. So there are many photography styles, but I like this some kind of realism photography style. And those things I talked so far in this video are important in this style. Keep it real and clean, but emphasize and tell a thing. Okay, this is it. If you have any questions, thoughts, comment, don't hesitate to leave some comment below. And I have a question for you. What is your favorite thing to photograph? Comment below. So today's topic is pretty much it, and thank you for watching this video. If you like this one, show me a thumb and hit the subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. So best thing, not best, favorite thing to photograph for me is, I guess it's not portrait. I don't do it that much. When I have to, I do it, but except that, I don't do it. Probably it's gonna be nature or historical stuffs, you know, to tell it to later generations. Yeah, tell a thing. Like tell people, tell later generation that